G'day everyone, welcome back to the vlog. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. G'day everyone, welcome back to the vlog. It is currently about midday here in Melbourne, and as a lot of you probably already do know, Melbourne has gone back into lockdown due to coronavirus, which is obviously a pretty upsetting situation considering that we've already been through lockdown, but unfortunately cases are starting to rise, and in order to alleviate the stress on the healthcare system and to try and avoid as many deaths as possible, this is something that's necessary for my city to do in particular. So whilst I am upset and kind of annoyed that I don't get to go out to wherever I want and I do have to stay indoors, it's something I need to do for the overall good of the Melbourne community. Having said that though, there is a bright side. It will free up a lot of my time to not only play these online poker 6 max cash games, but also to get some daily vlogs out to you guys. I know a lot of my viewers are from Melbourne themselves and are looking for stuff to watch whilst they're in lockdown. So obviously that's where I'm going to come in and get these daily vlogs out for you guys. Before we hop into what will be my second poker session for the day, I do want to make note on some progress I've made since I last put out a vlog for you guys. Lately, I've been grinding not only the 1-2 online 6 max cash games, but also the 2-5 online 6 max cash games. And I've done this before on the vlog where I've sort of gone between playing 1-2 and 2-5 at the same time. And I actually did have really good results in the week where I did that on the vlog. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I actually think there's a very logical explanation for why my win rate is higher when I do switch between the two and have multiple of each open at the same time. And it's simply because with more games available for me to play, I can table select a lot more efficiently just because I have so many more options. If I open up a bad 2-5 table, I can just close it, try and open up another one until I do find a game that has a soft spot. And if I'm doing that with multiple 2-5 tables and multiple 1-2 tables at the same time, of course my win rate is going to be higher because I'm playing in softer games. So it's something that took me a while to realize, but I am back on that bandwagon, not only doing the 1-2 today, but also the 2-5. Whatever game is good, I'm going to hop in and play it regardless of stakes. And the only downside to this is I won't be able to track my big blind per 100 win rate without using a HUD. As you guys know, my laptop can't really run a HUD at the current capacity. When we do get the new computer in, all that will change. We can go back to tracking the big blind per 100. But for now, I'm just going to try and maximize my win rate and get as much of a bankroll as I can before we hop onto that new computer. Without any further ado, let's get into the second session right now. Okay, it is about 3 p.m. in the afternoon here in Melbourne at the moment, and I've just wrapped up my second poker session for the day. Was able to get in a total of 5 hours and 22 minutes of poker today for a grand total of 1,561 hands. So yet again, we do beat the 1,500 hand goal that we were aiming for at the start of the session. In terms of results, pretty happy with those today. We did end up winning 590 across the course of both of these sessions. Was actually a bit less in the morning session where I actually had a loss, so ran pretty well in the afternoon to claw back and book a very solid win. In terms of my gameplay grade on the sessions today, I'm actually going to go with a B+. I do like a lot of the things I did today. I did cop a couple of bad beats, particularly more so in the morning session, and I didn't really let it tilt me. And when I did start to feel a bit of tilt, I just decided to end my first session of the day there and then before it did affect my play going forward. In the afternoon session, I actually think I probably would give myself an A for that session in particular. The only reason I do want to downgrade myself a bit is because I don't think I considered some more passive lines where I could have checked to induce bluffs from my opponent, which is actually something I've been trying to add into my game or more so recently. But today I just sort of brain farted and I sort of just did a few inefficient turn bets where I don't really think there was much value to be had by betting. Probably should have just checked to induce my opponents to bluff or better worse hand for value. So kicking myself a bit for that, but obviously that's only a minor mistake. It is something I sort of need to fine tune more in my game to get to that A grade level. So can't go too down today, but can't go with an A either. Gonna go with that B+. So pretty stoked with my performance today, but like I said earlier, when you do give yourself the option to not only just play 1-2 or just play 2-5, and you allow yourself to mix between the two, it really does give you a good opportunity to table select efficiently, and you end up in good spots like in the following hand. Let's get into it. So this one's from one of the 2-5 games I played today. So the action folds to me on the button, and I have 9-7 of spades, so I go ahead and open it up to 15. And then I get a call from a loose aggressive big blind. So we go heads up to a flop, which is 7-6-4 with 2 clubs. Big blind checks it over to me. And in this spot, I definitely want to go ahead and bet my top pair for value here. There are a lot of bad turns, which are going to scare our opponent off from calling with worse hands. Plus, against a loose aggressive opponent, I can definitely see them floating wide with overcards or calling with a worse pair themselves. Flush draws are going nowhere either, so I definitely want to get a bit of value while I can. I go ahead and make it 22, and then the big blind does call. So we're still heads up to the turn, which is a banger. It's the 9 of hearts. We do make top 2 pair on the turn, and then things get interesting because the big blind actually decides to lead out for 20. The actions I made here, and obviously I'm loving that news. I said my opponent could float the flop with a bunch of overcards. They could definitely have turned top pair with a 9 here, and they're sort of, leading it out to make sure they do get a bit of value from my overcards to their 9. So definitely want to go ahead and raise to try and get value from not only a 9, but also if my opponent does have a flush draw as well. It's somewhat possible they do have a worse 2 pair, and I will say it is somewhat possible that my opponent did turn a straight. Obviously 8-5 suited and 10-8 both got there on the turn here, so I do have to be somewhat concerned about those. Having said that, not going anywhere with my 2 pair, gonna raise it up for value. I go ahead and make it 69, which honestly, in retrospect, I actually think that sizing's a bit too small. I should be making it something closer to 80 or 90 here, just because I think there is a lot of value for us to have here, and we're missing out a bit on it by raising so small. So that's a mistake I made in the hand regardless. So I go ahead and make it 69. And the action's back on the big blind, and here's where things get really, really interesting. They go ahead and 3-bet it to 132. Obviously, this is pretty concerning. I've shown a lot of strength by raising on the turn here, and the fact that my opponent's gone back over the top, I am starting to get very, very concerned that they do have a hand like a straight, like the 10-8, like the 8-5, or they potentially could have flopped a set as well that they just wanted to take a weird line with. Having said that though, this raise size is so small. Even if they do have a straight, I have outs to improve to a full house, so I'm just going to say straight away, I'm never folding here. I do throw in the call with my 9-7, but definitely going to proceed with caution moving forward in the hand. So we are heads up to a river. The river is the Jack of Diamonds, and the big blind keeps betting at it. They go ahead and make it 130, which is a bit over a third the size of the pots. When the action's on me here, I actually think this bet size is really interesting and is pretty indicative of some of the hands my opponent probably doesn't have in their range. I talked about on the turn how my opponent definitely could have floated the flop with 10-8. Having said that, I don't really think that my opponent is just going to bet 1/3 on the river with a straight. If you think about it from their perspective, once I call the 3-bet on the turn, a lot of the hands in my range are going to be like 2 pairs, sets, potentially over pairs or missed flush draws. And if those hands weren't scared off to the 3-bet on the turn, wouldn't they just want to bet a larger size with a straight just to try and get paid off? So I think the fact they size down is probably more indicative of that they just do have a bluff here. Like they missed with a 3-bet semi-bluff with a club draw or an 8x type hand. So when I consider the fact that they did down bet here, I think I just have to call with my 2 pair. I think I would be more scared off if my opponent did use a larger sizing, just because I think a straight would more credibly use that type of size. So I do go ahead and throw in the call, and then my opponent shows Jack 2 of clubs. So there you go, they were semi-bluff 3-betting. And then on the river, they actually made top pair, and I guess they sized down to try and go for a little bit of thin value, try to get called by like pocket 10s or ace high or something. When I have 9-7 suited and I turn top 2 pair, I'm going to get him on this one. So definitely ran good in this hand, and very glad that I didn't get scared off by the smaller river bet. I'm curious to hear what you all think about this hand though, so hop in the comments below, let me know your thoughts on this hand, particularly how I played the turn. Once I do get 3-bet on the turn here, was it reasonable to put my opponent on a hand like a mate straight, or would they just not be leading that hand anyway? Like, wouldn't you want to check raise with that hand, try and build pot against an overpair? I'm not really sure, but I'm curious to hear your opinion as always. So do you think it's actually possible that my opponent would lead the turn with a mate straight? Or do you think they're going to go for the check raise in general? Super curious to hear what you guys think about the opponent tendencies when they do lead a turn like this. So hop in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. That's going to wrap up another vlog for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. As you can see, I've got the new microphone here. Be curious to hear your thoughts on the new audio. Still trying to figure it out. I think there's other ways I can actually optimize the sound audio from this microphone that I just haven't figured out yet because I just got this yesterday. Still trying to play around with it and stuff, but going to get some more vlogs out to you over the coming weeks or so before my new computer does get here, and then it's going to be much more regular, like I said in my previous vlog. But for this vlog, I'm out of here. Peace.